Hi there, it's Tanya, and it's Thursday, it's 12 noon, and that means I'm going live. Today's topic is about something really beautiful, if you think about it. We're going to be talking about floral oils today. And they've got so many beautiful benefits to them. So as I wait for most people to log in, I'm going to say hello so long. It's Tanya, I'm from Botanically and Alchemy of Soothing Botanic Ingredients. A lot of these soothing botanic ingredients, by the way, in most of the DIY lotions or creams or potions that I make at home, most of them actually do have quite a lot of floral oils in them. And today we'll understand why. Today's class is about teaching you a little bit more about why essential oils, specifically floral oils, can help so much with mood, the way you feel, in other words. And let's face it, when women feel beautiful, they feel powerful and they feel stronger. And what's not to love about that? So, as more people are joining in, I'm going to say hello. Welcome to today's live. If you could just partake in the conversation today, and please go and make a comment. And in the comments, just go and say what your favorite floral oil is, please. Very beneficial for others to see what floral oils are out there, number one. But besides that, it also, if your friends are on here, is going to teach you a little bit about why your friends like certain oils, because some of the floral oils obviously have quite a few things in common, but they are also very unique. And maybe you can learn a little bit more and have a better connection with that person that you really love, that you are seeing on here today as well. So welcome if you've just joined. We are talking floral oils, and I think there are more people joining in, so I'm just going to allow them a couple of more seconds. And if you've just joined in, welcome. It's Tanya. I'm from Botanically. And just put in the comments again your favorite floral oil. Okay, and then I think it's time for us to get started. All right, so today it's going to be slightly multifaceted. And the reason for that is floral oils have been used for very many years, hundreds of years in fact, because of their beautifying properties. Okay, so not necessarily in the very potent form as essential oils as we know them today, but basically because the beautiful fragrance that they give, as well as what they look like when you look at them. I mean, who doesn't love a beautiful flower? I mean, this is a plain old iceberg, as people would call it. Oh, the flowers open really quickly, they drop really off, but I mean, how beautiful is that even? That iceberg. And it also has a beautiful fragrance. It's not as powerful as these beautiful damask rose and the more expensive plants, in other words, and also the fact that you need quite a few tons of flower petals to be able to produce a pure essential oil. It's not just that. The beauty of this beautiful flower and the scent it makes, the aromatics that it makes, is actually there to attract the pollinators. Okay, so it's dual function. Very pretty, and a lot of people find a rose really beautifying, especially if they put it onto their skin, because of the chemical constituents that are actually found within the aromatic components of the flower. Okay, more people are logging in. Please don't forget, in the comments, just go, I can see there's few comments. Please go and comment what your favorite floral oil is. Please, let's get the conversation started. Then there's something as beautiful as a Margaret Roberts, and I know there's various different types of lavender out there. Some of them are edible, some of them are not, and the reason why I grow Margaret Roberts specifically in my garden is because the Margaret Roberts species of lavender is actually edible. Okay, and I like to have multi-purpose things at home, try and minimize. Minimalism is a thing that I live by, so if one thing can have several functions, then I'm like really happy. Okay. Alison loves rose oil. I've got to say, Alison, I also love rose oil. It especially is quite, I always use the word juicifying. I know juicifying is not a word, but I like the word because it just rolls off the tongue and it just really clearly demonstrates what it does, right? So rose oil is very juicifying, which means very beneficial and supportive to dry skin. And below your eyes, obviously, those fine lines and things that start as you're aging is usually due to dehydration. So using an essential oil like rose oil is really beneficial. Okay. Now lavender it's a beautiful smell. It's very calming and soothing. And I think if you've been listening to some of my lives by now, you know I always go into the chemical constituents because the science behind the oils actually and the beautiful flowers fascinate me. Okay, and Yolandi is saying jasmine and ylang ylang. Ylang ylang, by the way, is also a very beautiful oil. One of my absolute favorites. And it's rather odd because the ylang ylang is actually very close to the jasmine part or the jasmine flower. The smells are quite similar, yet I get hay fever from jasmine and not from ylang ylang. And that's clearly demonstrating that although they share some of their chemical constituents that's going to give them those aromatic smells and beautiful smells, it's also because they've got so many different aromatic compounds in there. They have very unique properties too. And one of them in jasmine is obviously the one that makes me slightly more hay feverish and gives me congestion. Alette is saying rose geranium. I've got to say, it's my husband's favorite as well. And yes, guys may like flower oils, okay? It's not a unmanly thing to like a flower. Otherwise, they wouldn't like women because women are like flowers. We're hopefully all beautiful outside and inside. Most of us are beautiful outside, hopefully more inside too, because beauty comes from the inside, obviously. But you can see that there's so many varying flowers out there, and because of their chemical constituents, they are going to, number one, have and possess the ability. Oh, Veronica's also saying hi, thanks for joining in. And Catherine, please go and pop in the comments what your favorite oils are. Floral oils we are speaking about today. So if you can say what your favorite floral is, that'll be fantastic. Darlene also just logged in. Hi, Darlene. Please, yes, your favorite floral oil. Okay, so you can see there are various different oils. And in the flower oils, what we consider to be a floral oil is usually those that come from the floral part of the specific herb or tree. With one exception, Darlene is liking ylang ylang. Yes, South Africans are really crazy about ylang ylang. There's just something about ylang ylang that is just, it's almost because it's that exotic fragrance, I think. It's just one of those really beautifying, and there's quite a few very expensive facial products out there that actually uses quite a lot of ylang ylang, not just for the beautiful aromatic smell that it gives, so that the cream itself smells beautiful. It's got a lot of beautifying properties in the chemical constituents too that is really good for skin health. Okay, Veronica is saying she's loving lavender. She probably likes the calming and the soothing effect. So let's elaborate. Let's talk a little bit more about these. So flower oils, usually the flower part of the herb or the tree. Think things like clary sage, geranium, helichrysum, lavender, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang. Geranium in that group of flowers over there is the exception. Geranium's essential oil is actually produced from the whole plant, okay? Because if you've ever grown a rose geranium in your garden, when you crush that beautiful leaf, that fragrance that comes off there is just absolutely beautiful as well. So it's not just the flowers for geranium, there they use the entire plant as well. Okay, so from the flower oils, I think the chemical constituent that's probably going to come to your mind first, because I do speak about it quite often, is linalool. So linalool is an alcohol, and together with the esters, these are the chemical constituents that are really calming and soothing to the emotions, but also to the skin, right? They've got anti-inflammatory properties, and they're just really all-round good guys, okay? But there's a lot more to flower oils than just the linalool. So for instance, if you're someone that needs a lot of calming, lavender might be really appealing to you. But if you have some kind of child memory where something not so nice happened, when you smell lavender, there's always the possibility that it's going to recall that bad memory. Now, why does this happen? Number one, these aromatic molecules, either coming from the real plant by sniffing a rose or Margaret Roberts lavender. So basically what happens is those aromatic compounds go through your nasal passages. They pass over the olfactory nerve sensors in the back of your nasal passages. And then those molecules or messages basically get sent to your limbic system or the limbic brain. Couple of parts in your brain actually that consist of that limbic brain. And that is your, what are we going to call it? Your primate brain. So it's where your memories are stored. And basically what happens then is, as these aromatic molecules or these messages get sent to the brain, your brain then recalls from past memories, okay, and then it actually starts secreting certain neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters then have the ability to either calm you or soothe you or revitalize you or get you excited, okay? So if you, for instance, have a bad memory linked to something like lavender, obviously lavender is not going to be soothing and calming to you like it would be for most other people. Then you can very easily reach for a different essential oil, different flower, or even a different herb that actually also contains the linalool component, which is the calming and the soothing effect. Okay, so think things like clary sage if you're going to go flowers. But if you want to even go herbs, those that are high in linalool also are coriander and cilantro. And now obviously that's the same plant, right? But cilantro is the leafy part, whereas coriander is the seed. Okay. And basil, as well as petitgrain. So all of those essential oils actually also have a very high concentration of linalool in them, and therefore, because they share that chemical constituent, they're going to have the same supporting benefit in calming and soothing you. I mean, just how beautiful is all this chemistry of these aromatic components that they can have so many benefits, okay? But they also have a very big part to play with the neurotransmitter secretion, okay? So therefore, floral oils can be very supporting to specifically mood conditions, okay? So let's think at the first one, sleep. There's a lot of people that really struggle with sleep, okay? And whether it be because you've got a very high-strung life, whether there's kids running, not running around, hopefully not in the middle of the night, but if they don't have a very fixed sleeping pattern yet, and they wake up quite a few times in the middle of the night and they come and wake you, Gwen is saying lavender and rose. Oh, those are really beautiful. So if you've got disrupted sleep and that kind of thing, obviously there could be underlying stress conditions. There could be something as simple as melatonin production not being what it should be. And things that promote melatonin production in the evening, which is what you need, that is the neurotransmitter or the chemical that you need to be able to go into sleep mode. Things like blue lights on your cell phone, you know, those kind of things really affect melatonin production, but also there are essential oils that can help support bringing that into balance and help the secretion of the required neurotransmitters. So if you are someone that struggles to sleep at night, having a bedtime routine, not looking at devices with blue light, and then obviously using essential oils in a diffuser as part of your nighttime routine, especially floral ones, are going to be really beneficial. So there, for melatonin production, we're looking at things like lavender, chamomile, and ylang ylang. All these people loving ylang ylang, now you know what else you can do with ylang ylang. Besides that, ylang ylang is also very good for endocrine health, right? So very supportive to the hormonal system. So especially if you are struggling with certain of your female hormones, essential oils of clary sage as well as ylang ylang are quite stabilizing, okay? And because they're then able to support your endocrine system and hormone secretion, they could also lead to better sleep, because if you're very highly strung because your hormones are a little bit whack, then obviously that's going to be supporting your sleep as well. Your endocrine system, your hormonal system in other words, is very much linked to your mood, okay? So obviously if you're able to offer support there with the beautiful floral oils, then you also are going to be having a more stable mood and not going to have those severe ups and downs when it's that time of the month, okay? All right, so floral oils are also, there's some of them involved in when you have feelings of sadness, all right? When you are sad, for instance, your thyrodoxin neurotransmitter might not be where it should be, and then things like rose geranium could really be very supportive there. We also, when we are very highly strung, usually have an unhealthy chronic situation where we have high cortisol levels. And the essential oil of clary sage has actually been shown in measured emotional well-being studies to help support normal cortisol levels, okay? So reaching for clary sage could be a really good thing. That is also an oil which is very good, again, for the endocrine system and the hormonal system, all right? And you can see how all of these are like interweaving together to, number one, help support your mood, your endocrine system. A lot of them also have a lot of benefits to the circulatory system. And then because of that, they're going to be able to support improved sleep. And with improved sleep, your adrenals, as well as your immune system, has a chance to reset for the next day. So you're also building an immune system and supporting your immune system. I mean, just all of these things working together is just an absolutely beautiful concept for me, okay? All right, so also we've spoken about the melatonin. Then your stress response, one of the neurotransmitters that is very heavily involved with that is called prolactin. And prolactin is supported by essential oils such as clary sage and lavender. All right, so again, very powerful floral oils that may just be able to support you when you're having a stress response that is not necessarily a good stress response, okay? Out of balance response. And then the last one is adrenaline, okay? So noradrenaline and adrenaline, we need that to get up and go, yes. And if there's fight and flight, great. But if that becomes chronic, it's not a really supportive condition for your body. That is like going to lead to constant inflammation as well. Chronic inflammation also leads to further disease models. So definitely an oil that you can start looking into there is lavender. So all the people that are saying in there, oh, they love lavender and rose, yay for you. That's exactly why you probably are more, or intuitively, you reach for that lavender, because it might be that you actually do need that oil for the various conditions or health challenges that I've just mentioned. But again, if you're someone that doesn't like lavender, what are you going to reach for? Clary sage. But you can also switch to the herb oils that have also got a very high concentration of linalool in there. Okay. So that's enough about the science, because that's quite a mouthful, all right? If you have any questions about all those chemical constituents that I've just mentioned there, pop them in the comments. I'll be very happy to assist you with those or guide you in the right direction, so you also know which resource is a good resource to go and investigate to learn more about the chemical constituents in these oils. So let's get more to the practical side now. How do I use the floral oils in my daily wellness routines? Okay, so first one, hair, skin, nails, and mood. All of those for me. All right, so sleep. Let's start with sleep, and then we're going to move to the mood and the hair and the skin and the nails. All right, so for sleep, I always have either a lavender or a blend containing lavender in my diffuser at night, because I do feel very calm and soothed by lavender. Okay, if you're, again, not someone that is very drawn to lavender, then you could very easily use clary sage or those herb oils that I mentioned. But a lot of people also find benefit in that arena using something like wild orange. Okay, so there are definitely various options. I love lavender in my diffuser at night. Okay, I also have a roller bottle. When I do need to feel beautiful, in other words, when I need to pep up my mood a little bit, I always have a diffuser going with some of the floral oils, and I like to put citrus oils with my flower oils, because citrus perks up my mood. So I feel cheerful, yet I have the beautifying and I feel beautiful feeling when I smell the floral oils. Okay, and all of those are working synergistically to help you get to a stage where you just, yes, your life is just really good. Where you can start feeling gratitude for absolutely everything around you, because then your entire outlook also changes, okay? And I have a roller bottle. It's called Beautiful, by the way. But all of you are going to have oils that you are drawn to that make you feel beautiful. And my challenge to you is to go and put them in a roller bottle and use it as a perfume. So number one, then you are lessening the toxins, which is really good for your gut health, and all other scenarios of your gut microbiome, as well as your skin, because you are decreasing the toxins, okay? But besides those benefits, they are really going to make you feel beautiful. And I think that is a really important one for mood in the current conditions that we are in. Okay, so that's the mood. Then also skin purifying and beautifying, hair, as well as nails. So a lot of the floral oils are what we call cytophylactic, and what that means is they stimulate cell regeneration. Okay, so if you're thinking regenerate, restart, refresh, so what they're doing is they are stimulating new growth. Okay, so things like adding lavender into your daily moisturizer really good for skin health, okay? Adding things like ylang ylang, and you can add rosemary as well, which is a herb, but those to your hair care routine is going to be really beneficial. So I make a hair oil, which I use just for a little bit of added extra moisture, especially because we're going into the winter months now. So after shampooing and conditioning, I always add some kind of juicifying oil. You need a very, very teeny tiny bit, otherwise your hair is just going to be oily and you're going to have to wash it again tomorrow morning. I love argan oil on my hair because it's really moisturizing for my hair type. And then I add specific floral oils in there because they are good for hair health, but also because you turn your head, then this beautiful perfume of floral oils is around you all the time, which is just going to have that mood enhancing benefit again as well. Okay, so I make a hair oil, and then I like to add to my hair oil geranium always, because geranium is very good for all types of hair, whether it's color treated, whether it's frizzy, whether it's dry, whether it's oily. Geranium is a really good oil for that. And then if you would like to know for your specific hair type what other oils you can add, please remember there is some recipes on my botanicamy.com website that actually list specific essential oils depending on your hair type. So I would literally just take a couple of drops of argan oil and then add 4 to 5 drops of the specific essential oil or combination of oils for your hair type, and then I rub it in my palms together, and I specifically add it to the tips, the ends of my hair, because obviously that's where they dry out and they split end when you haven't been able to go and see your favorite hairdresser for 2 months during lockdown. Okay, so that's a really good tip also to nourish the tips at the bottom, is to have a hair oil. Okay, so go and look up those essential oils on my website. Putting them in your skincare is really beneficial as well. So oils of lavender is really good for that. Geranium in a toner is really good for people with oily skin, for their faces. Again, those specific oils for skincare in toners also on my website. So just go and pop over there so you can determine which is going to be the best essential oil for you to use. There are some suggestions there. Obviously not every oil is going to work for every person, but that's the beauty of playing with essential oils. They are really potent, but it also allows you to sort of be an alchemist yourself and play around with recipes until you find something that really works for you and that really resonates with something that you love to smell, because it's going to be so beneficial for your mood as well. Right, and then lavender is also really good for cuticles and for nail care and skincare. You can always add tea tree to that. That is a very good combination for nails and cuticles specifically. But lavender is a really good oil for nails and for nail care. Okay, and it's, as I say, it's again because of the cytophylactic or tissue repair, tissue remodeling properties. Oils that you can look into there for as well is helichrysum. Helichrysum is a really, really good one for specifically skincare. I call it liquid stitches. I know there's a couple of other people that call it the same. So when I cut myself, and it's a really deep cut, helichrysum is something that I reach for immediately because of its powerful and quick acting repair properties. All right. When I burn myself, pans and pots, clumsy Tanya. Lavender next to my stove always. If you can get the lavender onto that burn mark really, really quickly, really beneficial. You probably won't even develop a blister. I'm not talking 20 liters of boiling water, scalding boiling water over your body, okay? That's emergency room stuff. But for general, I've just touched a hot pan or a baking plate, because we're all baking at the moment, that has just come out of the oven. Lavender is going to be a good one. Bruising on your skin, geranium and lavender are really good for those, okay? Clary sage, by the way, very good. Remember I said about the endocrine system and the hormones. If it's that time of the month and you need the cooling sensation and the hormonal support, putting a couple of drops of clary sage onto your abdomen and lower belly as women, that is going to take care of the ease and the discomfort that you feel in that area as well. Okay. So those are a little bit of practical tips. One more, I'm going to give you a diffuser blend out of my favorite book. And then we're also going to be talking about the uniqueness of these beautiful floral oils. Okay, so let's start with the diffuser blend. They call this the Fresh Start diffuser blend. And obviously, floral oils can either have base, middle, or top notes, but you're always going to have a little need to add something more as a base note to make that beautiful fragrance last a little bit longer. Okay, so especially in a diffuser, so it can hang around, you're going to need extra base notes, all right? So there you can add things like resins, which are really good at fixing smells, okay, and they're also going to help ground you. So for this specifically Fresh Start diffuser blend, from my favorite book. I'm not endorsed by them. I'm just going to show you what my favorite book is, except if I pull my phone skew. There we go. Oil Magic. Okay. So this is from the Oil Magic, and the blend that they suggest is 2 drops clary sage, 2 drops ylang ylang, 2 drops sandalwood, and 2 drops lavender. Now, the reason the sandalwood is in there is because it is so very grounding, and it is the fixer or the fixative in that blend. So it's going to make that whole fragrance last a little bit longer. Okay, but how beautiful does that smell? I think I'm going to go and pop that in my diffuser just after this live today. All right. If you want me to pop that into the comments, if you didn't get that diffuser recipe, just go into the comments and say, please post diffuser recipe, so that it just reminds me to do that at the end of this live. Okay. All right. So let's talk clary sage. I've talked a little bit about the endocrine system, and specifically because of that, in your menstrual cycle period, it is a very good one to use for an abdominal massage. Okay, so you can literally take 1 or 2 drops, dilute it with a little bit of carrier oil, and give your abdomen a massage. It is also going to be aiding your sleep and supporting better quality sleep, especially at that time of the month. So you can simply take a drop of 2 of clary sage and put it on your pillow, so that when you turn your head and you're turning and tossing at night, you'll get this beautiful smell of the clary sage, and it's just going to be really beneficial and supportive to your sleep cycle. All right, the main constituents in clary sage obviously being linalool acetate as well as linalool. Okay, so those are the esters and the alcohols that are known for calming and soothing. Okay. Then we've got geranium. All right, this is my husband's favorite. I find it a really strong smell for some reason. So I need to dilute my geranium quite heavily because I like to have just a little bit of it. My husband just loves the smell of geranium all over. I like a lot, okay? And because it is such a potent smell and very strong aromatic, it's also got very nice antibacterial and antifungal components to it. Geranium is actually a really good oil to use in your natural deodorant, by the way. And you can actually use it very nicely for bruising on your skin, and then obviously in your hair. Really good oil for hair. And you can obviously, here it is, sweaty workout, day in the sun. All right, so geranium is really good as a deodorizing oil. And because it has such a earthy tone to it almost, and it's very close to being a base note, I'm not going to say potpourri because no one uses or no one has potpourri in their houses anymore, but having a container with salt in it or baking soda and adding a couple of drops of geranium into that is going to be a beautiful fragrance for your home if you do not have a diffuser. Okay. Helichrysum, that is my liquid stitches. It is pure gold, that stuff. And I obviously use it quite sparingly because it is a very expensive oil to produce, because there's just so much plant material required to be able to produce the French Immortelle. But it is really, really good for skincare, okay? And fine lines, wrinkles, pigmentation. And Helichrysum, coincidentally, is also the essential oil that has those beautiful potent effects for skincare in the Immortelle blend, which comes from my favorite essential oil company. And it is specifically due to the cell regenerating and repair properties that this Helichrysum, or French Immortelle as it is known, what it's there for. Okay, lavender, a lot of you mentioned lavender in the comments. So this is very good for minor skin irritations, also very good for facial skincare, minor scrapes and burns. As I mentioned, I have mine next to the stove all the time. Skin imperfections, and again, this is one that's going to be really beneficial in your nighttime routine if you're someone that struggles with sleep, but also if you're someone that suffers from anxious conditions. Okay, so just calming you down and reminding you to breathe and use the box breathing and get the parasympathetic system going again. Lavender is going to be really beneficial there. Roman chamomile, that is the one, if you remember, I'm just trying to find it on my notes here. Roman chamomile is the one that actually assists with the neurotransmitter melatonin. So this is definitely one that you can add to your diffuser at night, or to put it on a drop on your pillow as well. I remember once I went to my Reiki and aromatherapy practitioner, and she was trying to get the Roman chamomile out of her bottle, and then all of a sudden there was a couple of drops that went into the carrier oil, and probably too many. I must say it was the most calming and soothing massage I had for a very long time, okay? And there was an accident on the highway on the way home. It took me 2 hours to drive from her house to mine. It was the most pleasant 2 hours in traffic ever, because everything was just so serene and calm, despite the madness and the honking and everyone like swearing on the highway. I was in the best mood ever. Okay, so I can definitely say that Roman chamomile is very supportive to calming and soothing. And then ylang ylang, there were quite a few that were very affectionate about ylang ylang in here. Really good for hormone support, endocrine system. Okay, really beautiful perfume in the hair. And very good for skincare. I know there are some very expensive skin brands out there that actually use quite a lot of ylang ylang in there, not just for the beautiful fragrance, but because it is so really good for your facial skin as well. And you can have a really beautiful and relaxing bath by adding a couple of drops of the ylang ylang to a carrier oil, and then adding that mixture to Epsom salts first, and then I don't like putting mine in the bath like most people say while the water's running, because then all the aromatic components are just diffusing off the water. It's just gone within seconds, right? So I let it mix with my Epsom salts first, because when your bath water is then in and you then sprinkle the Epsom salts over the water, because they have gone into the different crystals or granules, when those granules then separate and they fall into the water, you're also dispersing the essential oil quite nicely. Okay, so there's my extra tip there for making your Epsom bath, your relaxing bath. You could even add lavender to that. So then you're going to have a really nice detoxing, really calming bath. And this could definitely be something that you then add to your nighttime routine. Okay. A lot of information in there today, a lot about chemical constituents. If there's anything that you missed, please just go and pop in the comments if you would like me to comment. But what I will also do is go and upload this video today, because there's just so many benefits from using floral oils in a daily wellness routine. I'm going to upload that to my YouTube channel as well. And then if you subscribe to that channel, obviously you'll get a notification when the new video is loaded. But then also check back on my Facebook, this specific post, if you're not yet subscribed, so that you can find the specific link to my YouTube channel. And then you can go and watch the video again. All right. So I hope you found that all beneficial. Loved all the comments coming through from the various essential oils, specifically floral oils that you love. And if there were any questions in there, I'm going to get back to you straight after this and help them get answered. So have a beautiful Thursday, a beautiful weekend. Public holiday tomorrow means something to some people, not something to others, because most of us are just, every day is a new day and we take it as it comes during the lockdown. Please remember that a lot of these floral essential oils are going to be very supportive to your mood if you're someone that is taking a little bit of strain during the lockdown. Yes, and hopefully I see you all again next week, Thursday, for my next live. Thank you for joining in. Cheerio.